living legends are reaching me, sharing knowledge with you and me, teaching us how to lead with Sharon Lee. Sharon Lee. Sharon Lee. On the run. Sharon Lee. Sharon Lee. On the run. Yeah. Keep on building that synergy. One love that is on you and me. Keep on building that synergy. One love that is on you and me. Keep on building that synergy. One love that is on you and me. Keep on building that synergy. One love that is on you and me.
Hi, everyone. How y'all doing? Happy Friday. Guys, happy Friday. We are a week away from Thanksgiving, and we are totally happy over here on the Sharon Lee Briefing Podcast platform. Guys, November 18th, yesterday, Friday at 12 p.m. We do it every Friday here, same bat channel, same bat time. Guys, it's all about sharing the legacy. You all know me for sharing the legacy. I want to welcome you. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're in for a wonderful treat because we got a phenomenal speaker who's going to be sharing her legacy story. But before we get into all of that, guys, I want to do what I always do is give you a few ground rules, break it down a little to make it simplistic for you, but also make it engaging and fun. Because remember, what we do here on the Sharon Lee Podcast Show, we laugh, we learn, and we lead. That's right. We laugh and we learn and we lead. And we've been doing it for 21 episodes. Today is our 22nd episode. And the topic for this podcast is peace. Okay, let me make sure I got my name right. Global peace is obtainable. I'm going to say it again. Global peace is obtainable. Why? Because we know that once we all come together with common purposes and common cause, we can change anything around from negative to positive. And that's what I guess is going to be talking about today. So you're going to just be in awe of all the accolades that, God has allowed her to not only birth in the community, but all over the country. You're going to hear a little bit about that. So what? Ground rules, guys. Always remember to share, and share again. Make comments, ask questions. We will be sharing your comments. Thank you, Lisa, for joining. We'll be sharing your comments on the platform. Always remember that we always want to keep us all engaged with one another. Some of us know our podcast guests that we've had over the last couple of months, and some don't. But please feel free to just, call them by their name, put your name in the comments, especially over on Facebook, guys. Y'all know Facebook always shares the comments, but they don't show the name of the person who's commenting. So ground rule number 2, please put your name in the comments so we can recognize you and let our guests know that you're engaging them. So that last comments, thank you. You're amazing. Whoever just put that comment in as well. And last but not least, guys, we would not be able to do this without our team. Guys, let me tell you, every week I make it a point to always shout out our engineer, Krista Glenn from Only Greatness Media Production, Dana Parker, who created our theme song, Sharon Lee, I love that theme song, and also Sean Parker for doing the lights and setting our stage up behind the scenes. And I always give a long time shout out for Lisa Dev Washington. She's always supported me over the years. And I want to always consider her responsible because a lot of time she just shows up just because, and she's been showing up for Rosa and for me for the last 8-9 years. And I'm just excited about that. So with that being said, guys, you know how we do it. We have our guest come on just to give a little bit about who she is, and without going into the whole rundown of it. And we don't, we just have her tell a little bit, and then we ask her about her early journey in life. We'll ask her about her professional platforms. We'll ask her, most importantly, what's her on the run story, and then we find out what's coming up for her next, and then how people can connect with her on social media. That's how we do it, guys, here on the podcast, Sharon Lee Podcast Show. But we do it as we have fun. So, guys, with that being said, I would like for Chris to bring up our wonderful guest. Hi, beautiful.
Hi, good evening or good afternoon. So glad
Yeah.
to be here.
Well, it's so honored you. It's an honor for us to have you. I tell you, I have been following you, and so many have been following you, and I'm telling you, I can't keep up. Okay. So this is the reason why I said we have to bring you on the Sharon Lee Briefing Podcast Show just to get a glimpse of what God has allowed you to do on your wonderful platform. But before I do that, I would like for you to give your full name and just give a little snippet about who you are.
Okay, I am Her Excellency Dr. Theresa Ann Moseley. I am a United Nations Peace Ambassador, a U.S. Army veteran, a retired educator after 28 years of service. I'm the owner of TAM, Creating Ambassadors of Peace, and they call me the Peacemaker.
I love it. Yes, you are. I tell you, you know me for synergy building, and you know me for just trying to have a voice to connect people. And I would not, platform that I'm on, I always make it a point to let people know how we connected originally.
Yes.
So I remember connecting to you. I say it had to have been in 2014 when you were the principal at the Crossland High School here in Maryland. And you and Mrs. Kraft, Miss Sandra Kraft, who was the career coordinator at Crossland High School, decided you were going to take some youth to New York for the Rockette show, and you sponsored that trip. And that's when I knew I have to stay connected to her, because not only did you sponsor that trip, you were able to come out and be a speaker on a couple of my platforms, and I'm just excited to share your story. But that's how we originally met back in 2014, and to see you today, I'm like, oh my God, they're just going to be so amazed with your journey. But as I always like to do, thank you, Cynthia, for joining. Wonderful to have you here. Someone had also made a comment. I don't know who said I'm looking amazing, but I can receive that. I can receive that. Okay. I am definitely in this. I went to see the Wakanda movie, and I'm feeling that ancestry love. So I embrace all sides. I'm talking about the Africans, the Native Indians, Americans, all sides. I'm embracing it all. So, as I was saying, we love to give our podcast guests a gift. And this gift is a legacy piece that we hope that you would share with your family, your friends, and your network, for God knows how many years to come, because this is what will tell your story. Thank you for sharing some pictures with us. We put this product together, and we're going to have Chris show that, guys. I want y'all to get something to drink. I got my little, Starbucks cup. Enjoy a wonderful presentation, a legacy piece that I like to give all our podcast guests. And Dr. Theresa, please let me know what you think about it. We're going to keep us on the screen as Chris show it on the screen. Oh,
Oh my goodness, what an amazing job. I'm crying. I need tissue. That was so, oh my gosh. That was so wonderful. Thank you so much. I really do need a tissue though. Oh my goodness. That was so amazing. And you had the picture of my dad, my best friend, my tree that I planted as a Girl Scout. Thank you so much. This definitely is a legacy video that will be alive forever. 200 years from now,
oh
you know,
wow.
my great 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 grandchildren will say, "That's my great great grandmother." Thank you so much. That was amazing. Oh my goodness.
I tell
Wow.
I tell you, I love it. I love investing the time to just do that because over the years, you know me for history and you know me for everything I do is history and trying to find a way to just, share that legacy in today's time where people can relate to you today. I love my ancestors of the past. I love what they've done to make things easier for us, and I always will recognize them. But I also realize that we got to recognize those that's living right now because so many young people, so many elders don't have a clue who we are and what we've been doing in the community for years. This is nothing new to us. We've been doing this thing for years, and it's time for you to get that recognition globally. And that's why I launched the Sharon Lee Briefing podcast show. So with that being said, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I know the audience enjoyed it. I see Lisa, she's rocking and rolling with comments out there. Thank you, Lisa. She loves it. She thought it was dope and everything. And she's definitely saying hi to you. So I'm honored that she's on to be able to check you out and everything. But look, pictures are worth 1,000 words, and I get it. And a lot of people, can see the video production and be like, okay, that's cute, that's nice, that's wonderful, but they like to hear it too from you. So give us just a little bit of background about your early beginnings, where you're from, tell us a little bit about your mom, your children, your grandchildren. Just give us your earlier story.
Yes, so I am an Army brat. My dad was in the Army at Fort Bragg. So I was born at Walmack Army Hospital. So I lived in Fayetteville, North Carolina for 2 years, and then we went to Germany overseas for 3.5 years. So when I began to speak, I spoke in English and German. I was bilingual for like 5.5 years. I had four brothers, three older, one younger. I'm the only girl, but my brother was the baby. But being the only girl, I was my father's everything. Like, this is my baby girl. So I was very close to him. He's one of the reasons why I joined the Army. Not only that, we're two kindred spirits. Like, would know what I was thinking. He would know what I was feeling. So I was very, very close to my father. When we came back from Germany in 1960, I think it was 1963, I was 5.5 years old. I moved to Savoy Heights. That's the house that you saw, real meager beginnings, but it was considered middle class. It was a neighborhood full of Army soldiers from Vietnam and the other wars. My dad was a Korean War vet. And I went to elementary, middle school, and high school with the same neighborhood kids. Now, that's amazing. That doesn't normally happen now. But I have friends that I have known for 59 years from Savoy Heights. And so that was my beginnings. And I just loved, Savoy Heights, and my friends are still friends. And, my mother and father now are deceased. Two of my brothers are now deceased.
So sorry to hear that.
I have two surviving brothers. But life was good. Life was really good.
Awesome. So how many children do you have?
I have four beautiful girls. One lives in Florida. She's a preacher. One lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. She works for Wells Fargo. Another one in Durham who works for an e-trading commerce company. And my baby girl just turned 21. She's still at home with me, and she's in college working on her bachelor's degree. So I'm very proud to say I have four college-educated girls.
That
yes.
is so amazing. You have any grandchildren?
I have 8 grandchildren, and
Wow.
they're in college. One is in the Air Force. Trey, I know you're watching. He's in the Air Force. And my youngest grandchild is 10 years old, and she is so amazing. Gracelyn, I love her so much.
That's amazing. I share with people all the time. You never know what you have in common with people, even though you may have known them for years. You never know what you have in common. I'm a mom, a grandmom with 8 as well.
Wow.
4 girls and 4 boys. So I'm extremely happy about that. But again, you never know until you get on some platforms where you start to realize, whoa, we have more in common than what we thought, even when we first connected. So I do want to give you my condolences. Your husband passed away, and I wanted to recognize him as an ancestor and have you share a few words about him as well.
Well, Jesse Fatts used to be the TV production, what was it, radio producer for WHUR. And he went into education. He was an assistant principal. Unfortunately, he had Parkinson's disease and died on President's Day. But he
Wow.
was very well known in the DC area. I know he went to the White House with Jimmy Carter in 1976. Jesse was an avid moviegoer. He loved to go to the AFI. And recently, actually, on the day 1 year later, when he fell in the theater and had a stroke, they
Mm.
named a chair after him. Actually, it's J111 is a chair in his honor with his name on a placard at the AFI Theater in Silver Spring.
Oh,
And
isn't that amazing?
Foster Hirsch and Todd Hitchcock gave him a little memorial service during the Noir City Film Festival. Yeah, so rest in
Yes,
yes.
definitely rest in peace. And, condolences goes out to you and your family as well. So I also wanted to ask you now, you talked a lot about, because Veterans was weekend was last week. So how many years did you say you have in the military or had in the military? Because you're retired now.
Yes, I served 5 years in the military. I would have served longer, but I wanted to go airborne, and they told me I was mission essential. I said, "What do you mean I'm mission essential?" They said, "Nobody can do the job that you do because you know everybody's job." So I said, "When I get out, I'm going to get out." And so that was meant to be. That was meant for me to do 5 years. It was meant for me to go ahead and use my GI Bill to go to college for free. Everything was by divine assignment. Yes.
That is wonderful. I can't wait to get into the professional side of you. You got a few guests on. One is international, okay? And she is, I think she put a comment in there already about, your prestigiousness. And her name is, I don't see her name, but if she could put her name in the comments, then we'll know exactly who she is. And I guess it will be a surprise to you because she just recently did something with you that I don't want to share right now until we get into the business component of the program. So there's other people putting comments, hello Queens. Again, guys, if you all could put your names in the comments so I can know who you are, I can shout you out and let Dr. Theresa know who's, watching and commenting and engaging. There she go, Dr. Desiree. So she's from London. Okay. I think it's about probably 5 o'clock her time now in London. So she wanted to make sure that, she was able to come on and see you in action because our brief conversation was, you are the real deal. And I said to her, yes, she is. That video spoke volumes of you, what you do, and it speaks so on so many levels how you are about the community. Share with us about, you had shared a story with me
Yes.
about some students at Crosson High School, and a couple of them really touched your heart. And I would love for you to share that with our audience today because I want to set the stage for those to know why you're doing what you're doing out there with your professional platform. But I thought that was very, very profound because everyone knows me. I love the next generation. I'm so heartbroken right now on what's going on with our next generation. And you know me again to be empowering all professionals on all platforms, all industries to get involved, to turn this thing around for our elders and the next generation. So please share what you shared with me about some students that were at Crosson High School.
Yes, my very first year as principal was 2013, and I made it a point to meet all of my students. And there was one student in particular that I hadn't met yet, and I something just told me to go find him. And he was in the hall. I talked to him for about 15 minutes, what his passion was, what was his purpose. He wanted to play football, he wanted to play in the NFL. 2 weeks later, that young man was murdered. He was shot to death. And the very next year, I had another student who was a brilliant artist, and he was beat to death in a park. I was going home from work one day and saw the yellow tape, and I said, "Oh God, what happened over there?" And when I got home, I got the phone call that my student Israel was beat to death in a park. And that's when I started a campaign for no more violence. One school, one community, one county at a time. And the next year, one city, one state, one nation at a time. People wonder, sometimes they don't get it. Like, what is this peace ambassador? What do you mean by that? Listen, I think it's everybody's responsibility to make this world a more peaceful place. And I said, what can I do? As long as I'm working with children, I'm going to make sure that they have the skills they need to communicate, not to retaliate, that they understand that they need to have compassion and empathy for others. They need to know that if you're going to protest, protest peacefully. So as a principal, I taught my students and teachers these skills that they need to live a more peaceful life. But it wasn't until I joined a master's class that I actually did some self-reflection. I realized that my gift is my voice and intuition. I know things that I know. My passion really is serving others, and my purpose really is to make this world a more peaceful place. That's my divine assignment. You see, the world needs it. My mission in life is to help make this world a more peaceful place, and that's what the world needs. It's my passion. I love serving others just like you do, creating legacy, and then when you can write books and give speeches and work in a company and get paid for what the world needs and you love, that's definitely your purpose in life. So that's why I do what I do.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing that again. And again, that's that synergy moment. We've had 20 guests prior to you, and all of you all are in an alignment with that. And that's the reason why I wanted you on this show, because I really am real focused on the people that I engage with. I'm real focused and committed to sharing your platforms and everything. And that's right. Global peace is obtainable. We just, witnessed a 13-year-old get shot here in Maryland, just outside Raking the Leaves. We just witnessed 3 young boys in Virginia because of, gun violence get murdered, and they were all in college. I don't know all the story behind it, but they were on a bus trip. I don't understand how can us professionals, everyone out there, not understand that our young people are scared today. Yeah. I mean, I don't care how rich you are. I don't care, how poor you are. I don't care how many gifts you have, how much property you have. If you look into your children's eyes and you see fear, there's something going wrong in society, and it needs to be addressed. And I applaud you for saying, you know what, I am not going to talk about it. I have skills. I have been blessed. I have platforms. I am going to be about it. Let me brand myself. Let me share with the world all of my gifts, and most importantly, let me share with who I'm working with to help turn things around. So kudos to you for your leadership platform. And what we're going to do, we're going to take a little break right now because we want people to win some stuff, guys. Guys, this is going to be a really, really, as Lisa said, a dope show, okay? Her Excellency is here with us sharing her international platforms. Okay, so we're going to talk a lot about that when we come back. But Chris, if you could show the video promo for Rosa so that those who don't know about who we are here, I would like for you all to learn just a little bit about what we do here at Rosa. Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, it's about synergy. It's about connecting. It's about sharing your story. It's about educating the next generation about not only who you are, but whose you are, and then how you build up your platform to help others. That's what Rose is all about. And just to share that we have not only a 10-time best author sharing her legacy is really priceless. So, Dr. Theresa, if you could share a little bit about why you decided to be an author to write 10 books.
It's part of my divine assignment. I wrote my first book in 2014, and it was called The Fourth Child, 5 Decades of Hope. It was really an autobiography, but it was so difficult to write. I wrote it in the third person, and I called
Mm,
myself Dominique. Okay. And I wrote this book for my mother, who had actually passed away in 2003. And
mm,
I wrote the book just to tell her that I loved her. I
wow.
loved my mother. I learned so much from her. I watched her in the 60s stand up. You know, when my neighborhood was close to the white school, but we had to walk 5 miles to the black school. Will
Wow.
Now is in the house from Savoy Heights. He knows what I'm talking about. We had to go to number 10. But my mother stood up and said, "Hey, we pay property taxes at 1107 Chesterfield Drive. My husband fought in 2 war. You're going to send my kids to Haymound." And she went to the superintendent's office, and the next day we were registered. So I learned from my mother that there's something wrong in the name of children. You have to
Mm,
stand up. So, in the name of children, we have to teach our kids to value human life. Can you imagine if that boy that shot the football players valued his own life? He
yes,
wouldn't look at anybody else's, you
that's
know?
right.
And so I forgot the question, but
But
I do what I do because someone needs to speak up, especially on behalf of children. Someone needs to know that peace starts from within.
yes,
Everybody, you need to raise your children when they're born to
that's
let
right.
them know you could be anything you want to be, regardless of your gender, regardless of your race, regardless of your socioeconomic status. And also, you need to raise them to love. But here's the part about that: when a child is born, the first virtue they learn is hope. If I
Yes,
cry, I hope they feed me or change me or hold me if I'm warm. If you don't meet that need, they don't learn the virtue of hope and they don't trust. When a child doesn't trust, they can't love. When a child doesn't love, they are angry. When they are angry, they grow up to be angry adults and chaos happens.
that's right.
Everybody can help make this world. Global peace can be attainable if we start raising our children to be peaceful and loving them
And
unconditionally.
and that's why you're the real deal, okay? Because you not only speak it, you live it. And those are the kind of people that I love engaging. Those are the kind of people that I love sharing the shine, as Lisa Dove Washington would say, share the shine on, because more people have to be aware of who you are. Now, what one thing that stood out with to me, based on what you were saying, is that the children have to love and to be able to trust you.
Mhm.
Trust is something that you don't gain overnight. I don't care how much money you spend on a child. I don't care how many times you say you may love a child. If you're not engaging with young people, they're not going to trust you. Okay. So there's a little feedback going on somewhere. I'm not sure, Chris, if it's on your end, but there's a lot of healing that needs to be done in the community. We know mental illness is real. We know it's real. We know bullying is real. We know low self esteem is real. We know being hungry is real. Opportunities or the lack of opportunities are real. Young people need to be able to get back to the basics on the things that we were given at no charge. We could go to events for free when we were growing up. We could have an opportunity to walk into so many doors with no issue because people believed in us. We need to reopen that back up for the next generation. So I just want to say I'm glad you're doing that. So, guys, I want to give those who are listening a gift. Um, Dr. Theresa shared where she was born. If you could put in the chat where Dr. Theresa was born, I am going to give you a ticket. Dr. Theresa, you know that I have a platform called Leading from Within. And we have a program called the Rosa Youth Empowerment Series. And then we also have a Leading Within through project management program. So we're teaching skill sets to the next generation. We're teaching skill sets to professionals and also to elders on how to birth products and projects out there in the community. So we're having a graduation on February of 2023. The date is not set yet, but we're having a stakeholders, again, I don't know where that reception, that feedback is coming from, but we're having a stakeholders meeting, and it's going to be a celebration of all the graduates. So you get to actually bless their projects. They're going to pitch it to the community, and the community is going to say, this is a valuable project. Yes, go forward. Now let's plan your project. And that's going to be happening in February of 2023. So for those who can guess where Dr. Theresa is from, you will be a winner at the third season of what I call the Leading Within through Project Management coaching program. Lisa Dove, I see someone coming up here with the answer. Congratulations. You hit it on the head. That's right. She's from Fayetteville, North Carolina. I tell you, Fayetteville may be what, 5 hours from us here in Maryland? Is that accurate, Theresa, Dr. Theresa? I've never been to Fayetteville. Can you tell us a little bit about it? Because when I was looking at your pictures, I saw a lot of native, character traits in your grandmother and your parents. So, do you have some nativeness in your blood?
I have some Cherokee. My grandmother was a full-blood Cherokee, a Native American. But Fayetteville, actually is a French name. The French came over, as well as some of the Scots came over back in the 1700s and went to the town of Fayetteville. Now, Fort Bragg was like the second or the largest military post in the nation back in 1970s. And so a lot of people that lived in Fayetteville were from the military post, It has history. There's a market house that sits in the middle of the town on Hay Street where they actually sold slaves in the 1800s.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
That market.
Yeah, that's totally amazing because my family is from Calvert County, Maryland, and we're like, right on the water. And there was a lot of Native Indians down there as well. And I believe that there's some Indian in my family's blood as well. It's a long story. We haven't identified what the tribe is, but my aunt, who just passed away in 2019, actually, if you saw her, I mean, she has all of those Indian features, the sharp nose, the short face. And I'm like, okay. Wow. Yeah, the high cheekbones. It's amazing. So let's now jump into congratulations again, Lisa Dove Washington, for being the winner. Congratulations again. Yes, you will be in the room. Lisa's always in the room. I love her. She got some stuff coming on the platform, guys. That's going to be happening in December. I can't wait for her. And Lisa, if you want to put that in the chat on what you're going to be doing, because you're honoring people as well. And we're so blessed to have you doing that here in Maryland as well. So Dr. Theresa, we're going to jump in now to that professional hat of yours. You've already talked about you being an author. You definitely talked about, why you're doing what you're doing for the next generation. Give us a lot of information about your platform, TAM, and tell us again, when was it established? What was the purpose behind it? What are you doing with it now? And how can we support you?
It was established in the middle of COVID back in 2020, 2021. And what I do, my company is I provide speeches to organizations, especially companies that have a poor climate. See, it's up to the leader, and hopefully a transformational leader, to turn around your climate and make it a positive one. See, leaders have a very important role in this world peace too. So if you can train your people to reach their goals, to reach their productivity, whatever their expectations are, they're going to be happy. So when they go home, they're not going to have a fight with the kids. They're not going to have the road rage. So that's one piece of it. The other is I coach. I coach individuals to discover self. Who are you? Not what Aunt Judy wanted you to be or Uncle Henry, but who are you? Next, what do you love to do? What do you really love to do? Like, what's your passion? Then I help them develop a blueprint for whatever it is that they were meant to be. That's their divine assignment. Then I show them how to network and how to be accountable. There's this great book called The 12-Week Year, and I use that with all of my clients. You have to set short-term goals, you have to set long-term goals, but then you have to monitor them. Just don't say, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to finish this chapter by next week. Put the date and the time. And if you didn't meet that goal, go look back to see what was it that I did last week that I didn't meet this goal. So what gets monitored gets done. So I show people how to do that. And the most important thing is accountability and networking. You know, there are so many people that do what you want to do. Find out who they are. Work with people who celebrate you, not with people, oh, you can't do that. I didn't talk about my story, but I'll talk about my trials and tribulations a little later. But for a long time, I didn't have a voice. I was raised in the 60s where children were seen and not heard. So I just thought I was going to be a school teacher or a nurse because that's who I saw women doing. I didn't know I would own my own company, be a CEO, be an international motivational speaker. That was already in me. I was born with that. But I had to discover on my own that I had this gift that I needed to share with the world because it's not about me. It's about you. It's about the world. What I have to share inside of me will make you a better person, a peaceful person. I can show you how to live your best life because when you live in your purpose, not only will you be successful, you will be fulfilled, but you will have inner peace.
I
And
love it.
that's what the world needs.
And that's what the world needs. So, guys, you are hearing it from Her Excellency. I'm trying to figure out, how did you get that title, Your Excellency?
So I was doing a speech at a WIN conference in New York City. And there was a lady there from Nigeria that heard me speak about my platform on world peace. And she says, they call you the peacemaker. Yes. And I said, yeah. And she says, how would you like to be a United Nations peace ambassador? I said, oh my gosh, really? She said, yes, we're going to level up. So she says, there's training. It's highly selective. But I'm going to nominate you to be a peace ambassador. And actually, I had my training in September. I received this certificate and a letter that said, your new title is Her Excellency, because all United Nations peace ambassadors get that title.
Wow.
So that's who I am, Her Excellency.
That is absolutely amazing. Guys, are y'all checking this out? Are you checking this out in a short, since COVID? Okay, she launched her business. All right. And she's already been traveling. I can't wait for you to share all your other accolades because it's so much. You were just in London. Tell us about that.
Oh my goodness. I was in London just last week for the Women of Heart Awards. Dr. Desiree Richardson, she's actually a princess, Princess Desiree Richardson, owns the platform. And I was able to give a speech on my platform, World Peace. I received this honor for my work on World Peace. And I actually have that somewhere here. Yes. And so Desiree presented me with this honor. It was so wonderful to meet. I met so many kings and queens and just wonderful people that are doing wonderful things in the world. So that's what I was doing last week in London. And I've got so much more coming up in the future.
That is amazing. I tell you, I think, again, this feedback is annoying, but I tell you, when I saw your pictures and you shared with me to put it in your legacy production, I was like, how amazing is that? Now, did you take your daughter with you when you went? Did she see in the picture?
Yes, Nadia always travels with me. She traveled with me when I did a speech in Paris in March. And she's there to actually video and photograph the work that I'm doing. So it's great. Family and friends that traveled 3,000 miles to this award ceremony. That's great.
Well, she did an excellent job. You got some great pictures, and it really made our job easier here in creating your video production because it was like, look how beautiful she is. I love the red. Dr. Desiree, thank you. Thank you for doing over in London what we're doing over here in America. Thank you for recognizing people who are really about serving. I'm talking about really serving the community, getting out there, working with people, engaging people, and then showing them how they can develop their gifts, how they can feel confident in themselves, and most importantly, how they can find their voice to tell their story. So thank you for doing it, and thank you for getting, Dr. Theresa over there safely and getting her back safely, because we've been definitely praying for her safe travels, because you've been doing a lot. Tell us about other platforms that you've been featured on recently.
Well, I was at the WIN conference in July. I was in Paris in March. Next month, I'll be at the Women Doing It Big conference in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm keeping busy.
That is
Yes.
amazing. All right, so we're going to take another break, and then we want you to come back and talk to us about your On the Run story. Remember, guys, that's a signature segment in the Sharon Lee Briefing Podcast Show. Yes, things may not have always been great as we were growing up. We may have made mistakes. We may have been born into a family that, just couldn't provide us with what we needed, but we overcame our challenges and we were running, but yet we found out who we are. We found our voice, and we started running to opportunities. But this is one of those transparent type of segments in the podcast show. And you're going to really, with all that Dr. Theresa has shared with you, to hear her humble beginnings and to hear her on the run story, is going to really blow your mind. At this point, I would like to ask Chris if you could bring up the flyer. There's a flyer about Speak Sharon. It's a platform that I've created a few weeks ago, actually, so that I can share that with the community. Guys, I am a civil rights baby. I've heard Dr. Theresa mention 5 several times in her presentation. I was 5 years old in 1968 when Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated. I wrote a book called True Synergy Work, Leading Within, the 7 Defining Principles of Knowing Yourself to Birth Greatness. Knowing yourself to birth greatness. 5 years old in 1968. The power of 5 you all know me for. It just like Dr. Theresa, I had to also find my voice, but I had to do exactly like she said. I had to build up my confidence. I had to find my speaking voice. I had to lead certain platforms. I had to share what I do to bring people together. And that's what birthed this new platform called Speak Sharon. There's so much that I have been not sharing directly, but indirectly, which is my voice over the last 15 years since I started my history organization called Remembering Our Ancestors Synergistic Association. Again, as a civil rights baby, I lived like everyone else did. Life was not always easy, but I overcame challenges. So now I want to, share these stories that I have with you. I want to share more about my book and my journey. I'm the person representative for my family in Calvert County. We had the ones with the 40 acres and the mule, and we kept it. And we had to fight even family to try to get property back. And now we're fighting, some systems, legal systems, and government systems in the hometown of Calvert County to make sure that we get what we deserve and get the land developed the way that we want. So you'll learn more about me, but I am actually taking booking opportunities now. Dr. Martin Luther King observances is coming up. Black History Month is coming up. Women History Month is coming up. And 2023 is going to be so powerful. Everyone is getting back out there due to COVID-19. They're putting that aside. Now they're coming out in person. And I want to be in the room to share my story. So I just wanted to share this flyer with you. It's called, True Synergy Builders. I'm a synergy strategist, as I shared before. I bring people together that I know who are really working in the community for the betterment of our next generation and our elders and us collectively as a whole. So I just want to share that. Chris, you can take that down now. And then I want to bring back up Dr. Theresa. We got a few more minutes, and I don't want you to rush this, but it's imperative that the audience understand how God has blessed you on so many levels. I just can't even put them all in words because it's so many accolades I could share about you, but it wasn't always that way.
No.
It was not always that way. And here lies the part of the On the Run story. Please share with us your On the Run story.
So I told you before that I was from a military family. My dad was in the Army for 27 years. And then I joined the Army right after high school, 3.9 grade point average. And I joined the Army. My guidance counselor was livid. But I was in the Army actually for 4 years in the beginning. And when I got out of the military, I didn't have a plan. Remember that blueprint I teach now?
Yeah.
I didn't have a blueprint. So I ended up going to Southern California, Orange County. I got a roommate and working little meager jobs. And then I went home to see my father because he was sick. And when I came back, my roommate had moved. I
Mm.
had nothing but a suitcase and $50.
Mhm.
I was homeless for 3 days. The first day, I rode a city bus all day. I said, oh my God, and I was always strong in independence. I didn't want to call anybody for help. I just wanted to figure it out. And so the bus driver drove me to Leisure World. Now I'm like, okay, I'm getting off at Leisure World. He goes, where are you going, young lady? And I was about 26 years old.
Mm.
I'm going to Leisure World. He said, why? And I looked around and saw all the wheelchairs. I said, oh gosh, it's not an amusement park. It's a retirement community. So I got back on the bus crying. And he dropped me off near Robert Schuller's Crystal Palace Cathedral. There was a church and there was a club. And I was hungry. I now had $48. And I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I didn't have any friends. I just got out of the military. And I leaned against the wall and I said, God, I began to pray because I was born and raised in the First Baptist Church. I said, God, please help me get out of this situation. Because if you do, if I can help anybody who's homeless or anybody, I will. Please, God, tell me what to do. When I opened my eyes, I saw the club, I saw the church. I saw the club and I saw the church. I went to the club with my suitcase. But there I found my guardian angel. I had a place to stay for those 3 days. And during those 3 days, I prayed, I meditated, I did some self-reflection, and I figured it out. I need to re-enlist in the military. So
Mm.
that's how I did 5 years. But the second time I got out, I said, I'm going to have a blueprint. I'm going to have a plan. I'm going to have my own place. I'm going to use my GI Bill. I'm going to go to school. And so I got out, I went to school, and then I went to Georgia State. And that was the last day I saw my father alive.
Oh no.
My father died of cancer 6 months later. When my father died, this is another battle on the run. I crashed. I was broken. I would not eat. I did not sleep. I did not drink. I couldn't go to work. My father was my best friend and he was gone. But one morning, praise God, this voice inside of me said, Risa, get up, eat. You're still here. Go live in your purpose. And then I remembered the last time I spoke to my father at my graduation, he said, I had 5 kids, only 1 girl. You're the only one that went to school. You
Mm.
graduated. This diploma is worth $1 million. Now go live in your purpose. That's from a man that had an 8th grade education, but the wisdom of a sage. That
Wow.
part, right? So when I got up off that floor and started eating again, I said, I'm going to live out my purpose. And that's when I went back to school. I got my master's degree, got my PhD. And then all of a sudden I found myself, I woke up one morning, I own 2 homes and have twin Mercedes in my garage. I'm like, wait, what? I used to be homeless. Now I own 2 homes. I said, wow. But guess what? I was successful, but I wasn't fulfilled.
Mm.
I wasn't fulfilled until I started speaking and writing on world peace. So now I can truly say I have a rags to riches story, but I am successful, I am fulfilled, I am very prosperous, and I have inner peace because I followed my divine assignment. And then I also realized there's some more struggles along the way that all of these little things that happened to me meant were meant for me to take those lessons that I learned and share them with the world. So some of the books that I write, I talk about these little lessons that I learned along the way. So it's so important for people not to give up. Don't lose hope. You may be struggling or going through something, but there's a solution for every problem. If the issue isn't the issue, then the answer isn't the solution. I was homeless because I depended on somebody else to do half. I needed to depend upon myself, right? I didn't speak up when I was a child because I was told not to. You stay quiet, do what I'm telling you to do. But I learned how to find my voice and speak when I needed to, especially in the name of children. So it's so important to know that no matter what struggle you're going through, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And
And
I am very positive that you can be successful, fulfilled, and have inner peace.
And that's, guys, that's what a on the run story is all about. Did you hear all of what she had to overcome? As we begin to celebrate, Thanksgiving next week, I want y'all to keep that in mind. Okay. A lot of people have some rag to riches stories. Okay. A lot of people out there still going through challenges, and we want you to have a happy Thanksgiving, but we want you to have it peacefully. Okay. No arguing, no judging people, no putting people down. Understand that everyone has a story, and everyone, and I would call it a on the run story. All right. But they are working to overcome it. Let's work together collectively to do exactly what Dr. Theresa is sharing with us. If our children need to know how to get back in school, get them back in school. Okay. If they need to know how to get a trade job where they can make money, get them employed. Make them feel like they have value, they have worth. And that's what our ancestors did for us. And that's what we need to do. Every professional out there, even if you're not a professional, everyone out there needs to do that starting today. If you're not, I don't care who you're bringing on your platform. If they're not talking about the next generation, then it's just show me it's about me. It's about who I am, how I've done what I've done for myself, but not in return giving that gift back to the community. That, to me, that is not right. And I want to applaud you, Dr. Theresa, for sharing all of you, being transparent, first of all, and sharing your on the run story, and what you had to do to overcome it. From homeless to two homes now, and also you're a retired principal. How many years were you in the educational system?
28 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That is amazing. 28 years. So, there's no lag in anything about you. You've always been out there leading in leadership. You've been building up the groundwork for you to do what you're doing, like you said now, feeling fulfilled. Feeling like, yeah, I may have had money, I may have had property, I may have had this prestigious title, but now I feel fulfilled because I found my voice and I'm doing something that's passionate for
Serving
me.
others. That's right. I'm serving others now. And that's the true fulfillment.
And that's what it's all about. So I'm going to have, if Chris could bring up the leading within through project management. We're going to do one more little commercial, but the promo. I want to also recognize Lisa had shared that she has a platform. I tell you, Lisa, you are rocking and rolling. You and Cherie, I love the promos that you all are doing out there and the people that you're honoring. But it's called the Hidden Treasure Award, and she's looking for sponsors for that. Lisa, if you're still here, put the date of when your event is going to be held. Definitely, I already got my ticket, but I definitely want to also sponsor and support you as well. So put the date of your event. I believe it's December 19th, but I'm not 100% sure. But guys, if you know Lisa, I always recognize her again every week on the podcast show because she's always been a sponsor of myself and my organization, Rosa. And she's always our 17th, December 17th. Thank you, Lisa. December 17th. She's always been the Mistress of Ceremony for our annual conference that we have called the Leading Within Through Project Management. Our first conference, Dr. Theresa, was called the Unconditional Love Retreat, and talking about how people have lost properties and how they lost family members and how they lost so-called valuable items. We back in 2000 and I think 7 and 8 during the housing crisis. So when we had our conference in 2013, we wanted to say to the community then, guys, we know you're losing stuff, we know you've lost stuff, but you still are valuable. And Lisa Dev Washington came on back in 2013, and she was the supporting us back then, and she stuck with us ever since. So I'm always give her kudos. So thank you, Lisa, for saying that. You're amazing yourself. We love you and appreciate you and respect and value you. So Chris, if you could bring up the flyer for the Leading Within Through Project Management Coaching Program. Guys, I'd mentioned that this is our 3rd season. If you know me, I'm everything project management. I always try to. I don't speak what I don't do. If I'm going to tell you something is coming, I've already worked it out. I've planned it. I'm implementing things behind the scenes. I'm creating videos, flyers, promos, social media outlets. I'm just doing it all because your word matters. And I've been doing project management now for 23 years, and the Power Five plays out in the phase of project management as well. It's always about that initiating, that planning, that executing, that monitoring, controlling, and then closing out your project and moving on to the next thing. I've been blessed to present this project or this platform on national platforms as well. Blacks in Government, American Mothers, a lot of different platforms. I'm recruiting people who need to learn how to birth successful projects. Okay. And I do that through this platform called the Leading Within Through Project Management Coaching Program. We have a 5-month program. This particular season is over in December or January, and then we have the graduation in February. We're going to be coming back in September of 2023. Guys, you may want to put this on your radar because you and your children and the professionals, this is going to benefit everyone in your household. Believe me, if you want to birth any successful project, you need to be in this coaching program. You see the number, you can text PM today. You can put in the hashtag LWTPM. Again, those Lisa is lucky to be sitting in. She's going to be sitting in the room at the graduation class where she's going to be actually, agreeing to, I guess, approve some projects that's been actually not implemented, but put on the proposal for our new group of participants. We got about 6 people who are going to be showing their platform with you all. So I just want to say I'm excited about it. As you can see, I'm very excited about it. And I'm glad that I took the steps to implement this project or this platform 3 years ago, back in 2019. And again, Dr. Theresa is just showing how the synergy works in us because we both are just working our platforms, telling our stories, and just being able to serve the community and open up opportunities. So you can take that down now. I would like to ask you now, Dr. Theresa, what's coming up next for you? What's on the agenda for you?
Okay, so I will be arriving in Scottsdale, Arizona for the Women Doing It Big Award, December 9th through the 11th. I also receiving a Lifetime Presidential Achievement Award in January in Jackson, Mississippi. I have 3 books coming out to this month. Daddy's Girl, what I did with 9 other amazing women, that's coming out. We book launched the Sunday after Thanksgiving. I have The Voice of the Empowered Woman coming out in December with Dr. Sylvia Cole. And Girl, Get Up and Win Every Day is also coming out. So I have 3 more books coming out this year. I am so excited about going into the new year, continuing to speak on world peace, and just trying to make a difference in the lives of others.
Well, you're doing it. You're doing it. I want to give again some shout outs to those who joined us today. Sir Charles Carey, he really loved what you were sharing and he put this comment in there. I want to share his comments, the foundational principles of things that you have mentioned, sowing seeds, into the youth. That's really what it's all about. Thank you for showing up. I want to thank again Lisa de Washington for being the winner of the Sharon, the Leading Within Through Project Management stakeholders meeting. I want to thank her for being the winner. I also want to thank her for sharing her platform about what she's doing to share the shine on people. Desiree, I know she's probably with her children in London, and I want to thank her for showing up and just supporting you with what you do, Dr. Theresa. I also want to thank Cynthia Lane. I want to thank Willie Nash. Thank you for showing up, sharing, what you're sharing. And who else do we have here? Guys, I want y'all to share out this legacy platform today. I want you to watch it again. And I want you to share it with teachers, parents, church members. Everyone that you know of should be actually listening to this podcast because we're going into some crazy times now, guys. Inflation is up. It is, you know what it's like out here. Everything is expensive. We need to come together. I don't get into politics. I don't get into religion because this is a fun learning and leading platform. So we always like to stay focused on the fun aspect of what we do in life, but we got to get serious sometimes. And what all I can say about that is we need one another more now than ever. Okay, guys, we need one another. Dr. Theresa, I would like for you to share how people can connect with you on social media.
The best way to connect with me is to go to my website, creatingambassadorsofpeace.com, all small letters. There's links to all of my social media sites on my website. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube, Dr. Theresa and Moseley. That's my YouTube, Dr. Theresa A. Moseley. You can see, I actually wrote a song called Passion, Purpose, Peace. It's a motivational song, inspirational. You can listen to that in the morning if you're having a bad day. I have videos of me speaking at the Leadership Experience Tour. A lot of motivational things up on my website. So the best way to reach me is at creatingambassadorsofpeace.com, and then click on those icons and you can sign up for my social media websites. Thank
That's
you.
amazing. You're very welcome. Thank you for an awesome podcast interview. You've been a wonderful guest. Stay behind the scenes because we're going to be doing some, photo shots behind the scenes. But guys, this is what it's all about: sharing your legacy story. Get the word out that we're taking a break for next week because of the holiday. All right, so we will not be having our podcast next Friday. We're going to be eating and we're going to be filled with leftovers from Thanksgiving. But we're going to come back on December the 2nd with our new guest, and we're going to share that her platform or his platform, whoever we're going to have show up on there on that platform. Guys, I love you all. Keep in mind that you matter. Your voice matters. Your legacy matters. Lisa Deb Washington, again, thank you. Krista Glenn from the Only Greatness Media Production, who's behind the scenes, our engineer. Thank you for always showing up. Thank you for representing us. Again, Dana Parker for our theme song, Sean Parker for our engineering with our lights, and you all, each one of you all who have come on the Sharon Lee podcast show since we launched back on June 24th. You are totally respected and you are totally valued. Guys, y'all have a wonderful Friday, a safe weekend, and we will see you back on December 2nd of 2022. Have a great one.
Synergy, energy. Living legends are reaching me, sharing knowledge with you and me, teaching us how to lead with Sharon Lee. Sharon Lee. Sharon Lee. On the run. Sharon Lee. Sharon Lee. On the run. Yeah. Keep on building that synergy. One love that on you and me. Keep on building that synergy. One love that on you and me. Keep on building that synergy. One love that on you and me. Keep on building that synergy. One love that on you and me. Sharon.